Okay, David, we are live. We are live. Do I sound good?
Yeah,
Do you notice my new microphone?
I do, Joe Rogan.
I decided that the sound quality was so bad the last time because I was using like airport earbuds.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you forget them, and then you go to the little vending machine. You buy these earbuds, and they're like $40 cost, but like $3 quality. And that's what I ended up with because you
It
want to
was
watch your
pretty
shows
rough.
on the airplane.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
rough.
yeah, I invested. I invested because nothing worse than bad sound, David.
Yeah, agreed.
So another episode of Sapchat, and it's still another reason I invested in all this sound equipment was it's doing really well on Spotify. So
Interesting.
for those two people that are listening while they're tapping, thank you. I have to say they are definitely they're loyal. Like they go from start to finish. They never know what we're gonna say next, so they listen to the whole thing.
Them poor
Or they
souls.
got a long commute. I don't know. So this whole conversation, like what we're talking about, so doing a maple syrup buy day in Michigan.
Mm.
Dave, tell the story as to how this came about. Like you and I were having a conversation. You asked me a question. That's how it came about.
Yeah. Yep.
Go
I
ahead.
asked you. It was pretty much. Do you come to Michigan and buy syrup?
I
Have
think the
you?
question was, is Nate, I have some syrup. Do you want to buy it?
Oh, that. Yeah. Yep. I did say that.
And what did I say?
You said, "Well, Dave, for that amount, no."
Right? You had four drums,
Originally.
and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, I typically buy semi truck loads. And we kept the conversation going because you noticed. What'd you notice?
I noticed that there was a big gap and a void here in Michigan for the small producers to wholesale their syrup.
So define small producer in your mind. What does that mean?
Oh man. I mean, honestly, it could be someone who makes a 5-gallon pail all the way to, I don't know. I say in our area is probably 3,000 and under. Let's just do that. I'm just going to draw that line. It has
When
to
you're
have
saying 3,000 under, are you talking taps or gallons?
taps.
Okay. So 3,000 tap operation might make 1,000 gallons in a great year.
Yeah.
So the people that make between 5 and 1,000 gallons, in your mind, don't really have a place to sell it, or you haven't found one.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, some people do really want to take the time and bottle and go to the farmers markets and all that, but at the same time, say life happens, your kids are in sports, you're going around and everything, you get halfway through and you're like, oh man, I got the syrup here, I'd like to cash out. I want to buy a new evaporator. I want to get a filter press. I want, it'd be nice just to be able to sell this 100 gallons I have sitting here wholesale, get the money, invest it, build a relationship,
Yeah, that's 80% of the syrup from producers gets sold into the bulk market, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of producers like you. So we started having a conversation, and your hope is that it gives the ability for everybody to grow.
Yes. I want to see and give opportunity to these guys who are like, man, I really would like to add another 500 taps to my operation, but I can't sell more than what I'm already selling at my retail locations or what, it'd be nice if they're like, I want to grow. I want to take it to the next level, but I don't really have a buyer necessarily.
Gotcha. And that's you'd reached out and we started talking.
Yep.
And so what's going on next weekend? A week from today it starts. You have a 2-day weekend at Hughes Farms. What's going on?
Well, we will be having a food truck here on site serving breakfast.
What do you call this event?
It's Michigan Maple Weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
So who comes to this event typically?
Anybody and everybody, really. Typically, it would be the general public, wanting to come have breakfast, learn about syrup, Just an outing with the family, get out, because we've been trapped inside all winter, right?
Sure.
It's some of the first events that are available for the season, you
Sure.
know. It's just to get out of the house and get the cabin fever out, and talk with friends and meet new friends, people come from we have people come from 2 hours away. We had people from
Cool.
Ohio, Indiana. I mean, it was just crazy last year.
So
So
that's where we decided, hey, let's combine this.
yes,
Let's combine it. So we're going to bring our syrup buying station on the road, where we're going to bring a team of Bissell Maple Farm employees and do what we do. Bring a, we haven't decided it's box truck, who knows?
yep.
We don't really know how much syrup's coming. So
No, yeah, we've
we
had
got to
a
be
late
prepared.
start. We've had a late start to the season here, so
Yeah. And mostly it's like you have some syrup and drums. Like if people have leftover syrup and they want to get it emptied to,
yep. I
get
was
this year's
looking at
crop
it.
in it.
I have 2 drums left
What
over.
happened? You had 4.
Uh,
What
well,
happened?
they weren't full. I thought they
So
were full. They weren't.
so you got 2 drums basically.
Yeah, and just like today, I thought I had a pallet of glass ready to bottle. Went over there, they were bottled already. They weren't empty, and I had a whole canner full of cinnamon maple syrup ready to bottle at temperature. And I'm sitting here and I look and it's 3:30 and Sugar Bush is closed. And Lynn Mazurek, I called him his personal phone. He actually answered. He's in the woods. He's like, Dave, I'm on it. I hopped in my truck. He went there, actually set him outside for me. I just hopped in, picked him up, came back and bottled it.
Gotcha.
I mean, he totally bailed me out. Big time.
Sweet. We got comments. I didn't have the thing open on comments here. So here we go. We have a few comments. So hi, Dave. Hope all is well. How's that squirrel bit there, Dave?
Nice.
So
Thanks. Nice, Ken. Ken's going to be there.
nice.
He
Ken's gonna be
came
there.
last year. He's 2 hours north.
All right.
And they came last year. We met, we hit it off, and then me and my wife, after season, we ended up taking a trip up north, which was past him, and we were on our way home, and we stopped and spent the whole night with them while they were boiling and hung out. And now he's coming down with his soon-to-be wife for the whole weekend. He'll be
Cool.
here. He'd be willing to help you out if you need help. I know he would.
Is he bringing syrup? You bringing
I
some
think
syrup?
he actually texted me that he might be.
And then we've got Vaughn saying hi. So Vaughn Taft Jr. Hi, how you doing?
Yes,
And then
he's
look
got
at
some
this.
ring.
Somebody wanted to thank me. That doesn't happen often. Thank you for the insight in the previous video concerning MES membranes. Ended up getting one and it's phenomenal. That's what I hear. I hear those are the best membranes on the market. I think it'd be cool if we just did a test because people can just say he said, she said.
Yeah.
But from what I understand from a lot of producers, they, no matter what make RO they have, they buy their big membranes from Clayton at MES.
Well, my current RO I have right now, which was
Ray bought all his membranes from MES.
Yep. And I think didn't CDL for a while. I mean, not throwing out the. I mean,
yeah. I mean, sometimes they run out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. You take care of customers.
Yep.
Who's this person?
Oh, geez.
5th year, she says.
Oh, for our Maple weekend. This
Yeah.
is the 5th year. So you're coming to the 5th year anniversary celebration here, Nate.
And then what does this mean? So GR Jenner says, unfortunately, this year the timing is not the best.
That's what I was telling you before we got on. We're so far behind. Like not a lot of syrup's been made yet. Is the problem.
When he says processing syrup, he means making it.
Yeah.
I was thinking we'll be making processing grade syrup. There's a big difference.
No, I think the timing just is a little off this year's.
Oh, I know. Like you can't, like, we're just gonna learn.
Yeah.
It's progress over perfection. Are we gonna do everything right? Heck no.
No. That's how you learn. No. That's how
Like I'm not expecting everything to go perfect. I'm bringing 5 people from my team because we want to make sure we're ready.
Yep.
Some people it's going to be training. It's going to be learning, tasting, grading. People are going to be able to see how we weigh, grade, like what we're looking for.
Let's go into depth with that a little bit since we're talking about that. Let's do that right now.
Yeah. So like we buy all grades. commercial grades, all grades, and top 3 grades, same price. We're looking for table grade on there. Some very dark strong does taste good. That's kind of rare. Some very dark strong doesn't taste that great. Um, then you get into commercial grade, which is kind of an art. There's some commercial grade that's like spit it out of your mouth, and then there's commercial grade that there's a hint there. So a lot of guys that have their own markets, they'll take, if it's a bell curve, they'll take the center and they'll keep that for their customers, and the stuff they don't really like or the colors they don't bottle for their customers, they want to sell it bulk. Cool. Like we buy that too. It's something that they don't want to give to their customers, but we have such a broad spectrum of customers, and flavor is subjective and it's perspective. So some customers, I mean, you have no idea what people are using maple syrup for out there. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking like uh, even chemical processes where they need, I'm trying to think of where it was. They were using maple syrup as a accelerant or something in a chemical process, and it has nothing to do with food. And it's like some sort of a polymer. I have no idea, but good for you. Whoever was bored that day was like, "Hey, I'm making some polymer, and I need an accelerant. Let's try maple syrup." Whatever. So there's some things that are non-food grade related.
I see.
Um, and then I'm going to do a lot of teaching even for my own team. I got some of my younger teammates coming that haven't learned all the grading.
Yeah.
So there's color, right? So the 4 grades of syrup are separated by color.
Yep.
But 2 things with grading, right? It's color and flavor.
Flavor. Correct.
Not either or. It's color and flavor. So there's some golden syrup out there that we call Bud Light, right? It's super golden, but it's not very good. So,
Yeah.
just kind of like explaining it even to my own team. And if the producer's right there, it's good. We'll let them learn, see it, teach them, show how we grade. I think it's time. Like we really haven't done a lot of that or shown how to properly use a hydrometer, temperature compensated hydrometer. Like there's a lot to it, and we do this every day, not seasonally, every day.
So would you say if the producer has even just 5 gallons, bring it, and you can go through the whole grading process as be a learning experience for everyone? Why don't they just come, even if the producers are around, and maybe if they don't have syrup, come watch how you get grades so you can do business together in the future. Network together, say how much do you expect to have at the end of season, and I'll come back. You set up another purchase, like even if they don't have syrup today, come talk to you, right?
Yeah, it's like it's not about control. It's about giving people choices.
Exactly.
It's about
And then teaching and educating through the process. So the next time you come, it'll be easier.
You mean like learning how we do it? Like we're learning too. Like most of the time, this isn't done, at our facility, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, even if they don't have syrup today, come hang out, talk to you,
See
and
how
then
the
we're like,
process goes, even for them to learn.
correct.
Well,
And that you can say, they might be like, we're expected to make 200 by the end of season. And then you talk to all these guys that come that didn't have syrup today, and you'll be like, okay, I'm coming back in May and we'll meet up.
right. Because you and I were talking about doing this again, say April, May, after the season.
Yep.
And the idea is I was using the Chick-fil-A analogy. So tomorrow's episode, I talk about it a little bit. So Chick-fil-A, the most successful fast food restaurant in America, they got some things figured out, right? So they do $9 million in revenue per store. The next closest company is Raising Cane's, and they do like 5.4 million. So Chick-fil-A is almost double the next company as far as revenue per store. It's good food. Like my kids love it. I got some today. I got, Chick-fil-A sandwich, right here, ready to go. As soon as Jonathan gets home, he's going to crush that thing. So they have figured out there's no Chick-fil-A near us, actually. When I went and bought this microphone and this new snazzy setup over at Best Buy today, there's a Chick-fil-A over in Niles, across state line. I go and pick up the food and bring it back. But every now and then they'll send a truck out, and they'll send a truck to different communities. So different communities have different demands, and they'll send a truck out. And what'll happen is they'll say, hey, we'll be there between 10 and 2. And usually by 10, 11, the people come in like locusts and they eat it all.
First come, first serve.
Right. And so what they'll do is they'll find out where's the best place to put the next location. That's kind of what you and I were talking about is if we need to put a franchise in Michigan because there isn't one,
Yep.
let's find out by sending our truck out to sell Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Yep.
Is there a demand for it? And then pretty soon you go, look, we're sending that thing out all the time. People love it. Let's do a bricks and mortar. That's kind of the idea. It's like test the market to see.
Well, yeah. I mean, I approached even my association for the state about this, and it was just, here's a good time for your new sound of crickets. That's basically what I got from them. It was just no reply.
So here's a good question. Vermont maple farmer, buy day. So what's the price per pound? Wouldn't you like to know, buddy? Wouldn't you like to know, buddy? Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. I mean, if you plan on driving from Vermont to Michigan to sell David some syrup, give him a call, man. Like he's got it all. How many, by the way, what's the feedback been for you, David?
It's been good. People reach out for the pricing and then I give it to them. You know,
Sure.
we want to get an idea of who's coming and what's going on. We have no problem telling them pricing at all. We want to get an idea of who's serious and who's coming and how much they're bringing.
Yeah, we're trying to plan for this.
Yep.
We got a lot of tire kickers because they want to go to the people they buy syrup from and tell them what they'll pay them because Bissell's paying this. And listen, I understand it. Believe me, and I have a team, right? I have a team of people that buy syrup for us, and they were pretty specific. And I may not agree with it, but I'm going to support the decision until I can give you a reason why. Some of it is geographic. So let's just say David becomes a buyer for us. And Michigan has a great season, and price is set, and David's selling syrup. Up in Wisconsin, let's just say it's a bad season, and we want to keep our syrup buyer whole up there. What if the price in Vermont or up in Wisconsin actually is higher? Last year, Vermont had the highest bulk prices in the country due to competition. You're welcome. Going up into Wisconsin, you got a lot of people buying syrup up there. I met Andy and Mary Lynn like 4 years ago, and it's been a very good thing. But because there's so much demand between all these tertiary, secondary packers trying to get syrup, it actually created a higher price. Well, if I have a group of people, and why it's important to me is I need syrup buyers across the country because how's the season looking for you, David? What's the weather? Like, what? Give me your assessment.
I don't want to. It's not
Forecast doesn't look good.
It's not looking so hot. I'm hoping that the frost in the ground, because we just haven't got much sap. We just have it should be running. It's still froze. I mean, we're gonna have like 4 days, low to mid 60s, and then mid 40s at night. And that's, I mean, I hope the frost in the ground and everything gets moving and everything. And I just, if we can get through that, it drops off again. So it's just, I'm 90%, 95% soft maples, and they don't fare well when it does that.
So where I was going with this is you regionally could have a poor crop in Michigan.
Correct.
And the bulk syrup buyers have asked me, like, don't publicize it because it caused them some grief last year. I asked them to come on tonight to, lambaste me and chastise me about what I did because I still don't know what I did wrong. But okay, like they said, don't, because it could screw things up. So people in Vermont can say, well, they're paying this in Wisconsin, so pay me.
I see.
Well, they're completely different markets. There's different demands on it. Prices across the country vary. I mean, historically, Wisconsin has always been 10 to 20 cents lower than the Northeast.
Well, then you got to add in trucking too. That's not cheap.
Well, that was the reason is trucking everything to the Northeast was twice as much as trucking it to me. So being in the middle, I have the same cost. I'm in the middle of the Maple Belt. So it costs me the same to buy from a load from Vermont, Maine, as it does from Minnesota.
Got it.
So I'm right in the middle.
Yep.
And like I base my pricing on my customers, what that budget is. I kind of want to be in the ballpark. I pay attention, but it doesn't determine how I set pricing.
Yeah.
So I think last year, if on average it was like $250 for conventional on average, and then 270 you say for organic, but it has a lot to do with early season. There's a lot more syrup, the price is down.
Yep.
Later in the year, there's less syrup, so the price is up. It's supply and demand. So our customers don't want to hear, by the way, your price is going to be low in March and then really high in January. No, they want a set price.
Yeah.
But understand that if you buy syrup early in the year, there's more of it. People borrow money to do that. Does that make sense? Like if you're borrowing money,
Well, it's
you can't
interest.
pay as much. Yeah, so you got interest.
Yeah.
So the price of syrup is not linear through the year. It actually goes like this.
Yep.
So you buy it. So the average, I'd say like the middle of the year would be your average price.
Yep.
So, when you sell it matters. Whether there's two different types of schools of thought, cash price on the drum head, or hey, I'll sell you some, and then you'll pay me interest over time. Like that, I think that's interesting.
Yep.
Like those are two different models. You can't have it both ways. Oh, I want money now and I want this price. Well, no, like it's the cost of capital.
Yep. I prefer the bird in a hand than 12 in a bush.
A lot do. And I understand. Like we do both. So we do both. Depends on what the farmer likes. I mean, we don't really dictate, I guess.
Yeah. You want the farmer to be successful and grow so you can build that relationship and have a revolving yearly purchase.
Yeah.
So that's all you want.
And then what's happened is people reach out to me, and they reach out to me from Maine, all over the place. And I'm starting to see pockets, and, David kind of talked me into this one. So we're going to do this one. And then we're talking like, hey, let's do one. I mean, I wrote some of the areas down. You guys tell us. I think Wausau, Wisconsin is a great area where there's a lot of producers looking for options that it's just, I would have, people come in and help. We'll just rent a building and do a pop-up, like a pop-up buy day.
Is that
and see how it goes. And if it goes well, do it again, see how it does. And then Watertown, New York's a big hotbed of syrup. Rutland, Vermont, I'm going to be there Monday morning. Like there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of syrup made in Rutland, Vermont. And like maybe we do a pop-up buy day then. Franklin County, Vermont. I think Dakota mentioned that. Hey, you guys tell me, where is a spot that I could go, do a pop-up buy day, and then try to establish it? Because, Andy's got his area in western Wisconsin. Doug Beats is in Wyoming County, New York. He's in Attica, New York. And then I've got Damian Hill. He's down in the Catskills there in New York. And we're just trying to build it, different areas. And the reason is weather.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's a good season here and a bad season here? And there's almost like microeconomic syrup buying prices where you got these smaller packers running around. It's all they know. They don't know what's going on over here where there's a huge season. Pricing is a interesting thing.
Yeah. That's what the fur buyers do, Nate. They set up locations ahead of time on a route. They do a big loop and they're like, oh, we'll be here and buying your furs, bring them in, stretched.
Well, even the guys that sell
like
fish, like fish hatcheries will go. Like I used to work at a feed mill when I was in high school, college. And the guy would come in, you do your fish hatchery orders. So if you wanted an emer that's going to go eat all of the vegetation, you set your order, and then the guy shows up and you get your bag and you leave. It's kind of like that. The same thing for So there's always a good market for dark robust. I would say most of the market, a lot of the market is dark robust for sure.
Yeah.
Meaning the consumer wants it. Our opinion doesn't matter as producers. We think it does because we know everything there is to know about maple syrup. But the truth is, people want dark robust. Why? They want to taste it.
Yep.
And a lot of consumers grew up in the Southeast on sorghum. Mrs. Butterworth. They grew up on all these different things that are dark.
Yep.
Ask somebody from Florida which one they'll pick, and they pick the dark one. Why? Well, the light one looks watered down. I never would have thought that in a million years.
I've been told that.
What do you mean watered down? What looks like it's watered down? Because of what they were raised on. So our opinion as producers doesn't really matter in the market.
Yep.
Trevor says, sure hope people get paid. Expand on that, sir. What do you mean? Like finally get their, the new Mercedes-Benz they're wanting, or, the check comes to them? Like be a little more
You're
specific.
paying on site. You're paying
Yeah,
on
I'm
site.
bringing a checkbook.
Yeah, yep.
And then people have options too. Like, hey, if you want to get paid over time, I'm fine. Then we're also doing a 10-cent premium for people with more syrup, because I don't want to show up and have this not be successful, because it would suck if we get like 2 drums. But like if you bring 400 gallons or more, we're going to do 10 cents more.
Yep.
Just to incentivize people to bring syrup.
Yep.
New York, PA border, no snow. No snow.
Hasn't run yet.
Wonder where they're at.
Here. It says PA border, New York, PA border.
That's a really long line.
Is it?
Actually?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, you ever driven across Nebraska? Yeah.
No, thank heaven.
So here's a question for David. Matt and I haven't even boiled yet. Hope to get a good run this, well, not a question, but a statement. Run this week, just a little north, and it really hasn't ran.
See, and that's what I'm saying, Nate. That's what I'm afraid of, is they're only about an hour, they're only about 30 minutes north, but an hour and a half over. So I mean, lateral line, they're only probably 2 lateral lines above me. And it's just been real slow. I think Kurt had a little bit of a run yesterday, but that's
How much farther away is he from you? Is he a more northern climate? Bust out the mitten. For those that are listening, Dave's got the mitten now, and he's basically saying it's Detroit.
So here, no, Detroit's down here.
I'm sorry.
The camera's backwards. So he's here, and I'm here.
You're Lansing.
And that camera's backwards. I don't. Yeah.
That's a you problem, that your camera's backwards. I almost pushed the sound effect button, but I didn't.
You want to so bad.
I do.
You're sitting there like
made more amber than dark. Let's see, what do we got here? Do you sell syrup in stores like grocery stores or not? Is that for David or myself?
Probably for you, Nate. Probably.
No, I think it's for you, buddy. It's probably for both of us.
Not in any.
When you guys type questions, if you could use English, that would be helpful. Just describe it a little better.
Oh, Nate.
Grammar. I don't know. Like I don't understand what that is. That for you or me? How do you sell the syrup in stores like grocery stores or not? I need
answer for you, and I'll answer too. Then we cover both.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
All right. Well, I do not do any like grocery stores here in Michigan, but I do a lot of mom and pop little, I don't know, gas station stop little areas, gift shops, that type of thing. I'm not in a like big chain. And I do a lot of restaurants. I've been picking up restaurants, dropping off the drums to them, and they pump right out of the drum. So
that's nice.
I'm really focusing more towards that.
Are you doing like 15-gallon kegs?
Yep, exactly what I'm doing.
Just enough to give you a hernia. Just enough.
Yeah, pretty much. And then why don't you answer?
Yes, the answer is yes. We do stores, but nothing really direct. In fact, it's better for us not to. It's better for David to do the direct stores in my neighborhood than it is for us. We are set up to sell pallets, semi-truck loads. Believe me, I started my first sale ever was 6 bottles to Karen Ruck at Better in Bulk in Austinburg, Ohio. I'll never forget it. She didn't want to buy a full case. There's 12 to a case. She said, I'll take 6 bottles. Built the business by driving around in my pickup truck selling syrup to, DSD, direct store delivery. And what you find out is it's a lot of work. You can do the deliveries cheaper than you can ship it. So that's what we would do, right? You stick a guy in a vehicle, you would load, Eric would take his Toyota Corolla. We'd load that thing down. I'm pretty sure you would hear things scraping, but don't worry, by the first or second, delivery, he's cool. Just don't go over the railroad tracks fast until like the 3rd or 4th delivery. So that started our business. And then quickly you started realizing like it's hard to make a living doing that because you can't out Amazon. Yeah. You're not going to out distribute distributors because they have people in those stores every day and they're selling them everything. So there's grocery store distributors that think about these people that work jobs at these grocery stores. Like they don't have time to meet with every vendor.
Yep.
In fact, the maple syrup guy just annoys people because, he's got 53,000 SKUs and the maple guy's there asking questions. Like, you need more syrup? Like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whereas like the distributor can come in and say, hey, did you send me your order request? Yes. I'd rather send pallets to those guys because they already have a relationship with the grocery store.
Yeah.
The grocery store manager likes that individual.
Yep.
So I just found out it was a better way to go.
And that's what I've been setting up and working with you trying to do. But
yes,
by the time I go through you and then get them involved, there's not much margin there,
well, it's because
their average is like 25%.
Yeah. So what
so
happens is when you are selling direct, your desire to be really, really lean and efficient isn't as high as if you have another party in there because you're like, oh, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like until you are, bottling a case every 10 seconds, there's more efficiencies. So therefore there's more margin to share with a distributor.
Yep.
Until you like one of the best things we ever did was we were forced to. They sat me down. This is when our company was like, it was rough, dude. They sat me down and they're like, Nate, these $150,000 in customers here are costing you $225,000 to do business with. I was like, what? But I was so loyal. I didn't want to get rid of the people that got me there.
Yeah.
So eventually we went and found a distributor and said, hey, can you handle these? And we probably, gave them half the business, which they were happy to take. And then they were able to grow it with they got their own sales reps and they're better at it than me.
Yep.
Does that make sense? I hope that's helpful.
Yep. And that's where I was like, okay, so right now the happy medium is I need to take the time and see if I can be like what you're saying, go get these sales more direct and then kind of ease into it. But the distributor would be a lot smarter right off the bat, but the margins just are not really there.
Distribution is everything.
It is. It is.
Distribution is everything.
Like
I would never want to sell maple syrup in a state like Wisconsin direct.
Yeah.
Like you just get murdered. Everybody in there, even Michigan, like you guys have a ton of syrup made in Michigan, a ton of syrup made in Wisconsin. Like trying to sell direct in that state is just like, it's suicide.
It's just tough. It is. You're not wrong.
River Hill Maple asks, we should set something up in PA. It's a big state. I was in Harrisburg this morning, finishing up the state playoffs for wrestling. What part of PA? I mean, I know up in I think it's what is that? Waterboro? I think that's a town up there. Smethport.
Do you live in Pennsylvania, Nate?
I do, but it's a huge state, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole East. And by the way, East and Western Pennsylvania is like, it's like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the widest states.
How far are you from the office?
1 hour.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
So tell me where in PA. That would help. Look at this. This person says, I'm going to own a business one day. Good for you.
Gabriel's channel panel. And I am thinking that might be spam, Nate. I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking so too. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, good for you. I mean, I really, if you're real, then yeah.
So south of Corning, New York. Where's that in relation to Ithaca? New York's another big state.
Dude, when we go out to Vermont, I want to like rip my eyeballs out through New York. I mean, it is just such a long drive through that state.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like it just never ends.
River Hill Maple might be pulling tabs by the end of this week.
Where's that?
I'm like driving Brandy nuts because I see her comment and I'm just going slow.
Oh, is Brandy on here?
Yeah, she is. She is.
Did you guys get I know she got the video. Did you get the video of the barn set up and everything?
You sent me something. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. It's the video of where you're going to be setting up so you have an idea of what you want to bring, what you don't want to bring, yada yada. I know she got it.
So Brandy says, hello, guys. So Brandy's kind of coordinating this whole event. She's gaining skills as an event coordinator. She put on our Maple Weekend last weekend, and now she's like herding cats to make sure we all have our stuff ready for this coming. Like, you can't depend on me to actually work.
Well, we all
like
know.
I'm not going to actually work.
We all know this. We're gonna try to like make you be the guy doing the guided tours out in the woods or something.
You don't want that. You don't want that, because I'll say things that aren't true. Like, David is the largest maple producer in the Midwest.
There we
go. He likes to put 25 taps per tree.
Oh, you would bring that up.
Yeah. So here we go. Much better audio right here, baby. New microphone.
Told you.
I'm sorry about the last episode. Forgive me.
That's right.
But I made the investment because it needs to be better. And it has really cool things, right, David?
Here we go. You've been
dying. I got sound effects, guys. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Thank you. So I got sound effects. I got
here we go.
When David tells a joke.
Thanks, Nate.
Let's see. This is my favorite. This is for censoring David when he goes on a rant. You.
So that's going to be needed. Eventually, that's going to be needed. Especially if I start talking about my RO, you might as well just hold that thing down.
1% sap here in Connecticut. That's a common theme I'm hearing. Did we have a mass seeding this year? Did they make a lot of fruit, the helicopters, trees in different areas? Usually when sugar content's low, it follows like a year where the trees made a lot of helicopters.
So
if you low sugar content's kind of predictable.
If you go by Tim Perkins and Cornell and all this other stuff, they say our sugar that we're getting now is 2 seasons prior. So if you go 2 seasons prior, most everybody was in a drought, like a pretty severe drought during the photosynthesis time and all that. So that's theoretically what's going on here. So the next 2 seasons should be gangbusters if that theory is true. So let's circle back a year from now and see if there's any sort of correlation to what they're saying.
All right, here we go. Way south of Ithaca. No kidding. Did I ban the wrong person?
Wait, Nate Bissell banned somebody?
I was just trying to like crap, I didn't mean to do that. How do I get them back?
Wait, can we make them a shirt banned from Sapchat?
Man, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally banned River Hill.
Oh no.
That was the wrong one. How do I get you back?
Oh.
How do I do it? They were removed. I screwed it up, man. How did I do that? Does anybody know how to get somebody back?
Tim would know.
Yeah, he would. I'm sorry, man. He was. I was the wrong one.
You was trying to get that other one, the Ray CB one, right?
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that was enough of that. But I want this person back. I didn't mean to do that. I just don't know how to get you back. Because sometimes you're, sorry about that.
Can't see any of
brief intermission. Sorry. I'm learning. Yeah, River Hill. I didn't mean to do it. Can he still listen?
Maybe he just can't comment. I bet you just can't comment.
That sucks. I'm sorry, man.
I
don't know how to undo it. How do how do I undo it?
I can't see your screen, so I don't know what you got.
I am not that technically advanced.
Call Tim. Tim will know.
Yeah, Kurt, he has 2%. Way to go, dude.
We're not speaking no more, Kurt.
Here's Doug. He's on there. It's the Sapchat live, buddy.
With the
it just sounded like it was a kid.
He had some good information on some RO stuff. I was asking, when I was going off my rocker the other day with my RO, and I was like, I'm taking it out back, strapping a 5-gallon pail of tannerite to it and touching it off.
Yeah, Doug and I talked today just about syrup and
Yeah.
selling supplies. I feel really guilty. I accidentally pushed the wrong button.
That's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get, and maybe it's just this one show, and maybe it's not every. We'll have to. There's got to be a way, Nate.
Yeah. So still a little bit about like tariffs and like what I'm seeing and how it's affecting people's mentality. And there's a lot of discussion. Like the tariffs are really going to hurt the Canadian dollar. I'm already seeing it. Like
they need us. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
End of story.
Like if they, if the tariff does actually happen, like that thing could tank to like 50 cents. Like
the whole state's gonna
it would be like 50 US cents to $1 Canadian dollar. So like it'll like completely cancel the tariff and then we're right back to it.
I'm already counting it as a state is because it's gonna be so bad that he is gonna be Governor Trudeau at this point because they're not gonna be able to do it. They need us. They are so overproduced for their own economy. Like,
well, I find it interesting because Canada makes 70% of the world's maple syrup, and we as the Americans consume 70% of the world's maple syrup. We are the market, they are the supply. And the large packers in the US like have to buy Canadian syrup in order to meet their markets. So for years it's been, hey, here's the price in Canada, with the exchange rate it's this, and I'll pay you this, which has been like, it was like say 335 Canadian ends up being like 220 or 230 US dollars for like amber rich, right? But now it might get really interesting where the US packers are going to be like, hey, buddy, hey. Like, it might get really, really interesting. Really interesting. Doug said it's $1.45 currently. I don't do the math very well the other way. I think better in terms of like how much US dollars, like 70 cents equals $1 Canadian. But most of the time people flip it and they speak in terms of like $1 Canadian gives you $1.45 US.
Yep.
So I do better the other way.
I agree with that. No, I'm not even talking about syrup. I'm talking in general, like everything they do. Like
I'm sorry, River Hill. I didn't mean to do that. I am usually a free market. Like he's this guy's got like 10 handles. Like he's usually on there just getting kicked off. So Bob says he has a nice run. Doug's saying $1.45. This is true. If everybody likes the video, it will get more airtime. That does help. It does. And these Sapchats, I am shocked. For those of you that don't know, I do put this out on Spotify now with better sound and sound effects. That was not the one I meant to do. That was an accident there.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, it was an accident. So, it does help. So Trevor's asking how much per pound, and I can just repeat, like, here's like with the Canadian dollar and the US sans any sort of tariff, it's like 220 is what the equivalent price would be. So if it's $3.35 Canadian, because that price is negotiated and set, 3 years at a time with the Federation with the exchange rate. And it's really the exchange rate that hurts the US farmers. I mean, that's really kind of what happens is the exchange rate kind of hurts. And no one really knows. I would say the bulk price is not going down. I mean, I don't know. If it goes down, we're worse than a recession. Like, I don't see it going down.
Look at everything that's happened there within the last 2 years in Canada, and the writing's on the wall. And I don't necessarily know if what Trump's doing is right. I think it's just because of the fentanyl and the illegal border crossing stuff. But
I saw an interesting stat the other day that
he's really got them. I mean, they better get their act in gear. They're not going to be sitting very pretty. I mean, they're going to.
We lost 58,000 Americans in Vietnam, and we lose 100,000 Americans every year to fentanyl.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like it's
50,000
terrible.
people died in Vietnam, and we lose 100,000 people a year. Like how long? I don't know how long Vietnam lasted. I wasn't alive,
Yeah,
but just think about that. That's crazy.
it is. It's a terrible thing. Like I agree with everything, but Canada, I mean, I'm telling you, their economy is 100% relying on.
Doug says, "Can we do a live boiling episode?" Sure, man. As long as it's at your place. I don't got much to boil on these days. We got Joe.
Oh man, Big
Joe.
Joe.
He's going to fall off 240. He's collecting,
250 tomorrow.
meaning fall off, meaning the temp might drop.
I see. Got it.
Everybody's got different lingo. So
Yeah,
Trevor makes a good point. So I know, like, think about it. You don't want to end up at the end of your fiscal year with a lot of inventory. So you try to like time it. So at the end of your fiscal year, and then you got maple season. It would be better for me to have a fiscal year that goes from like July to June, because a lot of the syrup is my fiscal year is not aligning with the fiscal year that would do really well for maple.
Yep.
And it makes it a little bit difficult, but I can see what we're going to do in the future is probably move it. So a lot of packers are trying to time it. You want to have a little overlap because you don't want a lot of stress. You want to have syrup to last through the maple season. Like we try to have enough syrup to get through June. Get to June, like that's literally our goal, is to get to June, because farmers have to deal with the season. They're stressed out. They don't want to be sending me warm drums and totes, and sometimes they do, and I appreciate that. It's like, hey, I don't have this grade from this state, and I got a customer that needs it. Can you help me out? And farmers mostly oblige, but it's a pain in the middle of the season to try to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah, you got enough going on. Yeah.
Holy cow, this guy's got 5 loads going to Ohio at 265. Nice. That's a good for you, dude.
Wow. What's considered a load?
Now, what is that, Canadian? I'm kidding. I don't know. A load is 40,000 pounds. So Trevor has 5 loads. I don't know where Trevor's at. My guess is Wisconsin.
Okay.
But he's got 5 loads going to Ohio at 265. I'm guessing he's already made an agreement on that syrup price. This is my guess. Like, meaning like, hey, I'll buy all your syrup at 265 a pound. And probably took some money up front or whatever, and then over time he'll sell it. Like that's what happens a lot.
Yeah, I see.
So here we go. Look at the Sackler family and how they went from pumping out mass amounts of painkillers to owning a conglomerate of ski mountains in the U.S. called Vail. Yeah.
Oh.
Doug, you want 265? Listen, I mean, I think, I do think this is what will happen with conventional. I think conventional will come up, and I think organic will come down a little bit because there's just so much more. I know all the packers, we've all had to buy organic to keep conventional contracts. There just wasn't enough conventional dark, so we had to use organic dark, and that really crushes you. You keep the customer, but it does crush you. Jeff's boiling. It is. I'm sure it is. Any night in Ohio is a beautiful night.
Nice.
What else do we want to talk about here? We're cruising right along, bud.
Yeah, we're doing good.
So if you are looking for us to come out and do a buy day, I know like a lot of the guys that are buying syrup from me, I will go out there. I know Damien really appreciated it. His farmers really appreciated it. They wanted to know where their syrup was going.
Yep.
Met a lot of guys out there in the Catskills. It was nice. And I could see doing that with Doug. Always like going out to Western Wisconsin. And Andy and Brian and I have been talking about doing a buy day in the Wausau area.
Where's that at? Is that north?
It's like north. Here's my reasoning. This is my reasoning. A lot of syrup made in that area. I really like that airport. It's kind of like the Bangor Airport in Maine. It's a good regional airport. If I ever need to get over there quick,
I see.
Have meetings and stuff, it's just a nice airport.
I see.
And there's a lot of syrup made out that way. There really is.
Is it close to Michigan at all, or is it on the other side?
You know what? I'll bet you the upper part of the UP there is probably hour and a half.
So there you go. I mean, there's a potential for the northern half of producers in Michigan to jot over.
So he's saying, I meant the live episode. Yeah, no comments on the bulk price of syrup. It is too early. Like, we have no idea. Everybody's guessing.
Hopefully I have sap and we can do one here for the weekend.
But I do think it is funny. Like, I understand why people have had to compete with the Canadian bulk price, but that's been like, sorry, U.S. farmers, here's the bulk price. This is what I can get it for Canada, so I'm going to pay you this. And wouldn't that be interesting if all of a sudden, like, you can't get the Canadian syrup, and then they got to go back to the U.S. farmers like, hey, buddy, like, hey, man.
So do you think it is true that they're very low on syrup in Canada? Like, what's their definition of low? Like, everybody keeps saying,
I don't know. Last I heard was like,
there's no reserves. There's no, they're super
I can't even remember what
like,
I heard. I mean, I heard some 30 something stuck in my mind. I don't know if it was like 30 million pounds. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, is it just?
But I heard a number. But then again, you don't know what the actual grades are. Like,
yeah,
this stuff isn't as transparent to me as I just don't. I don't depend on it, even though I know it can affect me. I have set up all my markets with a fair rate on syrup. So when I go to my customer, I go, "This is what my syrup pricing is," and that's what has allowed me to grow, meet new farmers. You got to offer something. Like, it was done accidentally, meaning, like, I had no idea that the prices would drop down to $2.20.
Yeah, and that's what is the going rate pretty much for most buyers right now, right? Is $2.20.
That's where Bruce is on Golden and Amber. He's $2.20 on Golden and Amber, $2.10 on Dark Robust, and $2 on Very Dark. And that's how he buys syrup. But if you look at other large packers, they might be, $2.30 with some bonuses for being a large producer. So it kind of is the same but different.
So what you're saying is people need to call me to get that price so they know how good it really is.
It's true. They've been blowing up your phone and you're,
Yep.
And you're sharing it. It's like,
Yep, no problem. Just reach out. And if you're serious, reach out.
That's okay. Let's see what we got here. This is River Hill. Hour north of Harrisburg, 3 hours south of the New York border. I know where you're at. I just couldn't make it, man. I mean, I was just exhausted. I didn't wrestle any matches, but I got to watch my son wrestle matches, and it made me tired. Like, I think I felt everything he did.
He finished in the top 12, correct?
Top 12 in the state. He was just didn't medal, and that was his goal. So it was like heartbreaking to see. Unfortunately, the last wrestling match you ever wrestle, unless you're a state champ, is a loss. You can't really end on a high note. Although getting there, he's in the 0.1% in the country.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a win.
He's very good. He could wrestle Division I, and I don't know that that's what he wants to do. So
you haven't
H2O and Leader posted a bad video today about having tariff-free tubing.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
I got this new sound.
Oh, man, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
But tariff-free tubing, dude. They do make it there in the U.S., so it should be tariff-free. Yeah, it was a busy week, I got to tell you. So what else we got, David? I'm going to be at David's place Saturday and Sunday. Hope to see you there if you're from Michigan. I know you posted on some Facebook channels, and we did want to talk about that a little bit. Like,
that's true.
When David posts something in Ohio Facebook page for Maple or Indiana, like, I don't know if people know this or own a map. Geographically, they touch, and if somebody in northern Indiana wants to take syrup up to Michigan to sell it, like, who are you to say that doesn't apply?
Well, I'm closer to Indiana, Ohio than most of Michigan.
That's true. Like, there's like this control thing with some people.
Yeah, they got taken down from both.
Yeah, and You're protecting your constituents from success.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to
What are you
help
doing?
other producers because their season is finishing and they will have syrup. And we're
So if
only
I want to do
we're
a
an hour from the
pop-up
border.
buy day in Indiana, are you gonna say no? Like we're doing one in Michigan, but if there's a lot of shoot that farm that sold up in northern Michigan, the guy lived in Indiana.
Yeah,
Like he was driving up and had his
it's
sugar bush.
it's
Like
it's
these people
syrup
have like
related.
control.
Yeah,
I,
I don't get it. I just don't understand it, Nate. I probably never will, and I'm glad I don't, I guess. I'm in it for everyone.
I tell my there's been some fraudulent maple things coming out where we sometimes get approached from some companies that look real. And it happened to us. It happens to us like 2 or 3 times a year. And you really got to look. And another packer in Ohio was sending me a text last night and was like, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" And I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. And the sad thing is this con artist is posing as an employee from a company. So it looks real. And you get on LinkedIn, you look at it and you're like, okay, this looks legit. But you can't actually get a hold of this person because if you're in purchasing in a company, you spend more time trying to avoid people. And I'm just trying to let you know that somebody is pretending to be you, but you're protecting your company from success so much. I can't even get to you to tell you that somebody's pretending to be you. That's frustrating to me. So my company, like, we're open to ideas and people. If we don't have time, we'll tell you, hey, I don't have time now, but I'd like to reschedule. But for the most part, people in purchasing are so busy, maybe they don't even have time. But then you call the guy and he's clearly got an accent. It says he went to Ohio State University, and you're like, he doesn't really, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to, but it's a lot of business. So the con is short for confidence, right? People get so excited over the sale. It's a catfishing scheme. It's sad. And maple's such a high dollar thing. And we get so excited if somebody's like, hey, I want to buy a truckload of quartz a month. Who's not going to get excited over that? And they're figuring it out. But we're getting better and better at seeing that it's a scam. And I just hope, like, guys, these emails happen all the time. Latest one was Levy Foods, which is a food company that owns multiple grocery stores. And Levy's is a pretty famous company, and he even uses like a Levy's email in the post. And then when you go to call, it's got a 315 number, which is Chicago. I just want you guys to know, like, this is a scam. Like, don't get caught with this. So Trevor's selling 5 loads of syrup. That's a lot of syrup, dude.
Yeah. What happened with Brandy? Did you hear about that?
Yeah. Somebody got her phone.
Wild.
Yeah.
That is wild, dude.
Yeah, and she's had a lot going on with her daughter, and like,
yeah. Is she gonna make it? Because I know her daughter had.
I think Brandy should probably stay home and relax.
Okay.
But somebody's got to babysit us. Like,
so she's coming.
Down. Yeah, she's gonna be coming with us.
Well, she said she was on the line there. So
last day. So yeah, there are definitely some maple tours going on in Ohio. We only did one weekend this year. We did not do but it's a lot for our team, for our employees. Like, they work full time, and then to tell them, hey, take Friday and Monday off, but I want you here on Saturday, Sunday. To do that 2 weekends is tough.
Yeah.
What else would be helpful? Again, we're going to be doing potential buy days or the pop-up, buy day in.
If you are interested in
reach out
to us so we know how, to help you plan and what you got to bring for totes and drums, so
yeah, our plan, and this is thanks for bringing this up.
Yep.
Clayton was telling me, he heard a farmer. It's nice when people will share their opinion with Clayton, and Clayton does not divulge names, but he knows I want to know. Hey, if I'm doing something wrong, I want to know.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, some farmers are like, I'm never sending syrup to Nate Bissell. He's not going to clean drums out. Whoa, time out. Time out. We always steam clean drums. Like, if drums come to us, they get steam cleaned.
Yep.
What we're doing mostly in the Midwest, like, if you look at geography, the Northeast is very small. Sending drums around isn't that big a deal. But from Wisconsin and Maine to Ohio, for me to ship drums back, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So for our bulk syrup buyers, like even at David's place, we're going to bring our 2-inch air diaphragm pump. We got a big old diesel air compressor, and we're going to suck down drums. Like it takes us like 12 seconds. So we're going to weigh the drum before and after. Hey, it's still maple season. I'm not going to steam clean drums at David's place. I think most people would understand.
Well,
that.
they're going to be able to take their drum right with them. That's what's the nice. So if
so you'll have it. And by the way, rinse it out and then put it right back in your evaporator. Like it's maple season. Like,
yeah,
you know, if it's, you know, we'll get all of it, but say a pound. I mean, really, that pump does a really good job. So we get, say, a pound. So we want to work through the line.
Yep.
And if we'll have some pails there. So if you want to go ahead and drain that last pound, we'll take it from you. But for the most part, this system is for our bulk syrup buyers that are buying from smaller people. It's not really for people that have invested in, you know, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars in stainless steel drums.
Yeah.
But if those people would like, we offer, you know, if you put them in our totes, there's a 2-cent, you know, premium.
Yep.
So if you're a large producer and you do love your drums, we'll send you totes, no cost. And you get an extra 2 cents putting them in totes for us because that's what it costs for my team to pump out drums.
Yeah.
So instead of it being something that's on me, you guys can make that 2 cents that I'm paying anyways, but I don't have to bring your drums back.
Yeah.
But I'll take drums and we will steam clean your drums, but I'm trying to incentivize totes. Like we love them.
Yeah. We've had, I want to say between 20 and 30 people reach out.
Wow.
So I just don't know how serious they are. I mean, they ask for price.
Lots of tire kickers.
Yeah. And
everybody's kind of wondering, like, I don't know what the price is going to be.
Yeah.
This is a first time project, guys.
Yeah.
And we have no idea. I mean, I want it to be incentivized enough that I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I want it to be a good experience for my team. The last thing, I got 5 people on payroll coming.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is, wait, let me get it for you.
Five of the
right here. Last thing I want is 5 people sitting there and yeah.
Well, to be fair, about 5 that did seem the most serious said that they haven't even started to make syrup yet. So, and we only have a week. That's the only thing I'm a little nervous of.
A week, by the way.
What's that?
And aren't we talking about coming back? Like we're talking about coming back.
Yeah. I'm just saying this particular one, I'm a little nervous of just of the timing. But coming back,
at least I know I got 2 drums from you, David. Woo! I mean, I might have to pay 10 cents a pound to cover the expense.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is if my 2 drums, you know, end up being the only 2, they might come at a pretty hefty price, Nate. Like you might be buying me an RO.
Hostage. So come do a buy day here. Where is here? Oh, New York. Okay. I forgot. He changed names because I accidentally got him out.
I'll clean the drums real quick. Boil it down. Nice.
Heck yeah. So how much syrup are you going to sell me? This is the fella in Pennsylvania.
This is the one you ban.
Yeah.
You got to get the shirt banned from Sapchat.
I did. Banned from Sapchat. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. So do we cover everything?
I think so. I think let's just have fun. And they know, oh, you guys are offering free lunch to whoever brings syrup. I forgot.
I am?
That. Yes.
Good
you
job,
didn't know
Randy.
that. You didn't know that yet, Randy. You guys are offering free lunch and food for the syrup.
So we'll give you a ticket to the food truck, basically.
No, I think you're doing your own.
Oh, Brandy's making pulled pork. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, there you go. So
she mentioned it today.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's
it's always nice to grab a sandwich, talk to people.
Yep. You'll learn how the grading process. You'll learn all. I mean, there's a lot of value in just coming and showing up with some syrup.
Sure. So for those of you who stuck around for the price of bulk syrup,
it is
suck ass. Yeah. Call David. Text David.
Yeah, I got it. I will send it as soon as you text me. Text is better, and I'll just text it right over to you.
Yeah. And by the way, this is a pilot test. Like I wouldn't use this as like the rule.
No.
You know,
nope,
I just don't want to show up and get 1 drum.
Yeah,
hey, if this works, what did you say? Hey, if it doesn't work, I wouldn't use it. This 1 data point.
No.
I'm going to have to do this 3 or 4 times to find out.
I'm just nervous.
And I would say in one place, like we almost have to do it in Michigan to see if it grows, because it would do no good to do it in Rutland, Vermont
Yep.
once and then,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. I just think it's more the year and the timing on this. It might bite us in the butt, but we'll see.
it's true. But hey, I wanted to get the first one done
Yes.
so we know what not to do.
There you go. And this will, yeah, exactly. This is a training. You got to go through the process for you. Yep.
Yeah.
You
Like
know, your truck, this truck worked great, or this pump, I don't know.
David, as always, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching and listening to Sapchat. We will catch you on the next episode.